Hey guys, it's Amina Ali. I'm coming to you today. We're going to spice this up a little bit. Now, if you're like me, you were raised in 60, 70 something, and you had a brand new understanding of this word culture, which is what we're going to talk about today. In the 60s, it was the Haight-Ashbury and the revolution of marijuana. Okay, and we had the onslaught of all of these new psychedelic things that we were doing in this hippie culture. And then we moved on and we kind of got to the platforms and the bell-bottom pants, and we were rocking to the rock music of the 70s. And then the 80s flew in there, and Studio 54 was the discotheque that we went to. But all of these were cultures, phenomenons that people developed. So to define culture, we're going to say it's the customary belief, social norms, and material traits. That's very, very important. That's dress and how you adorn yourself, of a racial, religious, language, or background. So this is a group of people that got together and said, we're just going to wear these bell bottoms and these platforms, and we're going to make that hip and new, and we're going to throw this era into swing. And then we're going to put music that attracts that. So then we have a look and we have a way that we're going to move. And this culture now becomes a thing. So let's take that a little further back. How about the Indo-Paki culture that was centuries ago? How about the West African culture? How about the South African culture, which is two totally different ends of the continent and so far apart in their cultural alliances? But understanding that culture is a thing that is customary, something that one generation does, passes it on to the next generation, and that generation precedes the understanding that it is something to lend to the next generation. These cultures lay a great understanding of what it is that we need to do as a people in this land, in this area, in this time, or maybe in this decade. Case in point, we call it Generation X, Generation Y, there's a Z, there's a millennial. All of these are a culture of people that are different, yet unique in their givings. Some of the Gen Xers, that's us, that were born in the 60s, 70-ish. And these are the ones that kind of went against the counterculture. We are the ones that kind of, we're going to do our own little thing. And we're going to add a little psychotropic drug to boot. Okay, we won't talk about that. But we were the ones that kind of shifted things a little bit. We were coming out of Vietnam, coming into our own. We had a greater voice. We had a bigger victory. We had a greater stance in society. And we wanted to showcase that in how we did ourselves. We wanted to teach our children by example, and we wanted to give the alliance that everything is up for debate. Nothing is tyrannical. Nothing is by dictator. And we were going to give that. That was our culture. But if you look at the millennials is this culture of entitlement. Oh my goodness. I gave birth to two of them, and I can probably write 5 books on that. But that culture is theirs. And universally true, the counterculture of the 70s and the millennials, we're like oil and water right now. We're like those magnets that no matter how much you put them together, they're just not coming together. And that's because there are unique differences in each culture that should be celebrated. These are the things, these are the little intricacies that we take for granted because it's not familiar to us, or we overlook because it's not important to us. But as ambassadors, these are the very things that will unite each other. Everyone loves to eat. Everyone loves to pray. Everyone loves to love. So that universal accord develops a whole new culture. And that culture is called an ambassadorship. And you, as a global goodwill ambassador, will be using those cultural differences to mend fences and to bring a unification to each other as we teach and learn from each other. Those cultural differences are the one things that are going to set us apart by other humanitarians, by bringing us a greater understanding that we are brother and sister, regardless of geography. We are coming into this with that understanding that culture has no bearing here. It does not make one greater than the other because one was longer than the other or one surpassed the other. This culture is a meshing of things. So why not have a GGA meeting and have Indian food? And then why don't we take off our shoes as we go into it as our Asian fellows? Likewise, why don't we have a general prayer like our Christian fellows? And these are traits or cultural adaptations that we can bring as a whole as an ambassador. And we need to embrace this, and we need to bring this full circle so that all ambassadors feel welcome, feel loved, and feel cherished. And that will bridge a greater gap to understanding the betterment of culture rather than its differences. I hope that helped. Until next time.